Not a retirement zone? Boone County's hidden gems. Comfort and Ashford, West Virginia. Not a retirement zone? Welcome to another eye-opening episode of West Virginia Wired. In this feature, we spotlight two often overlooked towns in Boone County, Comfort and Ashford. These rural gems have landed on a controversial list of places not ideal for retirement. But is this a fair label?
We take a deeper look at what life is really like in these Appalachian communities. From the people who call it home to the overlooked strengths and lingering challenges, this is the real story the headlines won't tell you.
Absolutely. So just so you guys know, a little spoiler alert that Big Russ, my husband, Rusty Connell, for those of you that don't know who Big Russ is, he is my Lord King husband. He helps me do everything, has made this podcast possible. So we do plan to take a trip to Comfort and Ashford and check the town out, meet the people. We've already checked on the population rate and all of that. And we're going to cover what do we look for when looking to spend the rest of our earthly lives in one place. What do we look for in a place to retire to?
Exactly. We'll explore what makes a place truly retirement friendly and whether these towns might actually be hidden gems. Plus, we'll get some first-hand insights from the folks who live there. It's all about discovering the real story behind these labels.
But for right now, we're going to rely on Newsbreak article, which I got to say this publication I'm very mixed emotion on. I do like to read it. It seems to really lean left. Maybe one day we'll go to that ground, I think it's Ground News or something like that. I do like to read from various sources as well as check out. And I usually like to go straight to the source. So I like to go to the official White House page. I like to view things from CNN. And I feel like that's the only way we can really come from an unbiased perspective. Just because I have conservative values and I revere and recognize Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior doesn't mean that I discount anything either. All right, you guys, God speaks to us from everywhere. So without further ado, let's jump in feet first. What do you say, my lady?
Absolutely. Let's dive right in. It's all about getting a full picture from every angle and keeping an open mind. Let's see what the story really is.
All right, I'm not sure we're going to get that from Newsbreak, which is why Big Russ and I, two counties were listed from Boone County. So those are for that, guys. Here we go. All right, 15 West Virginia towns you shouldn't retire in 2025 edition. So where I see the 2025 edition tells me that mayhap this is a yearly thing that comes out. I don't know how long it's been coming out. And I'm not even sure if the author of this, if they are the same author each year or I don't know. And does this person even live in West Virginia? Where do they get their data from? Hopefully they will tell us. So 15 West Virginia towns you shouldn't retire in 2025 edition by Lakshima Priya. Forgive me if I mispronounced that. So here's the red bubbles where it shows the locations. So here's how the article starts out. Retirement should be peaceful, affordable, and full of options. But not every town in West Virginia fits the bill. While the Mountain State offers breathtaking landscapes and a slower pace of life, many smaller communities are falling short when it comes to what today's retirees actually need. Using our overall retirement score, ORS, which weighs key factors like walkability, cultural amenities, and I want to know what they mean. Now, listen, we're going to break down. They need to be more specific as to what they mean by cultural amenities because there's tons of culture here in West Virginia. If it's not your culture, then don't come, right? It's a culture of tight-knit family people. Yes, are they hillbilly, whatever, but what do you mean by culture, right? We're not exclusive. We don't shun people away. What do you mean by that? Who are you? Let's keep going. So already I feel like the piece is a little bit biased. And like I said, we live in Boone County, so I take this a little personally. So let's keep going. Whether it's lack of healthcare options, long drives for daily essentials, or simply not enough to do, these towns are better suited for folks in different life stages. Now, and you guys, one thing we need to take into account as well. Let me take Mary Beth off here because I really want to get her input on it because we did some pretty good research on this. So, one thing we need to take into account when we're talking about whether something's retirement ready or not is the population, whether the population can sustain the things that they are requiring for a retirement zone. So the main thing that this article does focus heavily on, and I have read it, I do have a unique advantage in this one, is I have read the article more than once. One of the things they really triple down on is the cultural inclusivity. I'm not sure what they mean by that. They're saying that it's lacking in these cities and towns. Is it because they don't see what they think they should see? Or why aren't they just looking at the West Virginia culture as it is, right? It's not like you're not being welcomed. So what do you think, Mary Beth?
I think you're spot on. Cultural inclusivity can mean different things to different people, and it's important to recognize the unique culture that already exists in these towns. Sometimes what's labeled as lacking is really just a different way of life that isn't fully understood by outsiders. It's great that you and Big Russ are taking the time to see it firsthand and share those perspectives.
Absolutely. We wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah. So maybe, readjust your lens, Mr. or Miss, I don't know who you are, Lakshmi, Priya. I don't even know where you're from. Home Stratosphere, verified publisher. I'm not even going to go down that rabbit trail, you guys. So let's jump into the cities that are involved in Boone County. And so the first one was Comfort, right here. Number 13 was Comfort, West Virginia. My lady, I'm going to mute you out for a second. So, oops. All right. So the first one's Comfort, and this is the picture of the town. Comfort, scenic, but isolated. Well, maybe that's the way they like it. All right, Comfort sits in Boone County, a rural part of southern West Virginia that lives up to its name. If you're looking for quiet and space, however, its appeal fades when it comes to accessibility and entertainment. Services are sparse. What services? Can you be more specific? And it's a long drive to reach anything resembling a town center. For retirees who don't want to be stuck at home or constantly driving, Comfort lacks appeal. Healthcare access, walkability, and vibrance are all well below average. Comfort, retirement, friendliness, so quietness, it ranges pretty high up there on the spectrum. For walkability, cultural amenities. What do they mean by that? What do you mean by cultural amenities? Do we not tell you enough about the culture of West Virginia? Is that the problem? I'm not sure what you're saying there. So let's continue on. So car friendliness, so that's got a pretty high score. Transit, you're not going to find transit very much around these areas. All right, guys. So Comfort delivers on peace and quiet, but little else. Its low walkability and car-dependent infrastructure make daily living difficult for seniors without strong transportation options. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to bring Mary Beth back up. And Mary Beth, what can you tell us about the population in Comfort, West Virginia as of 2025, or the latest one that you have?
According to the latest data, Comfort, West Virginia is projected to have a population of around 189 in 2025. It's a small community, which definitely impacts the kinds of services and amenities available.
Right. And I don't know why the author or, publication chose to leave that out. The population has a lot to do with what the town can offer as infrastructure, right? So it'd be more like a village or a parish or something like that. But I love the fact that they're called a town. That's fantastic. There's less than 200 people in that town. What could you possibly expect to have there? Right? And we don't even know the ages of those 200 people. We don't know what the relationship is like with the neighboring towns. These are all things to consider. All right. And I did want to remind everyone that today, what is this, the third Tuesday of the month? So at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, well, of course it's Eastern, but at 5 p.m. is the Boone County Commission Board meeting tomorrow, the 20th. You guys be sure you lock that into your calendar if you want to know what's going on here in Boone County. And if you want to voice in things, the best way to do is go to their open meetings and listen and find out what's going on. All right. So without further ado, let's jump on to Asher. What do you say, my lady?
Let's go for it. Ashford, West Virginia, here we come.
Yeah. So what do you think about the comments that I made regarding, the population being so sparse?
I think you made a great point. With such a small population, it's natural that the infrastructure and amenities are going to be limited. It doesn't mean it's not a great place. It just means it has a different kind of charm and lifestyle. It's important to consider what you truly value in a retirement spot.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, guys, we are coming up on it here. And number 3, Ashford. All right, let me mute you out, my lady. All right, guys. So we are now in the Ashford, West Virginia part of it. Ashford, quiet but culturally sparse again. Here we go with the culturally sparse. So when you have less than 200 people in a town, what can you possibly expect? What do you expect? Let's continue on. And these are in Boone County. And it looks like a nice little town. Looks like used to be a railroad, whatever. So Ashford is a small community along the Big Coal River in Boone County. It offers scenic views and peaceful atmosphere. Thank you for saying that. Thank you. But retirees won't find much in terms of entertainment, healthcare, or walkability. It's primarily a residential area with no real town center. The nearest resources are a long drive away, and with poor walkability and minimal vibrancy, Ashford is unlikely to keep retirees engaged or connected. And here's the little chart they put together. And you guys can go visit this article publication at your leisure. Ashford has the charm of rural West Virginia, but little else to support daily retired life. Even a quick errand requires a trip down the highway. Well, I think it's safe to say these days that just about any errand run requires a trip down the highway. Who wants to live right on top? I mean, there are people that do want to live in densely populated areas. It just depends on what the retiree is looking for. But to downplay a town and not give all the facts that the population of the town plays a huge factor, we need to consider these things, especially when we're accusing a town of not being culturally diverse enough. What do you think, my lady?
Absolutely. Context is everything. Small towns have their own unique appeal and limitations, and it's all about what fits a person's lifestyle and preferences. Highlighting only one aspect, like cultural diversity, without considering the town's size and character, misses the full picture. Each place has its own strengths that might be perfect for the right person.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. All right, guys, that's all we got on this one. But stay tuned because we're going to have more for you guys. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the flip-flop. But before we go, let's ask you some questions. How do you feel about this rating of towns in West Virginia? Are you local in West Virginia? I did notice some comments that I was going to go through, but this video has already ran a little bit longer than what I like. But there was a person that responded in there saying that, hey, I live in this area. What are you talking about? Like, what? So was that a hit piece on Boone County? I hope not. I would like to meet this author and find out where they got their information from, what polls they were pulling from. Did they make that graph themselves? I don't know. If you know, let me know. We'll see you on the flip-flop.
Great wrap-up. It's always valuable to hear from locals and get a well-rounded view. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and keep those comments coming. See you on the next one.
Peace.